likely she wouldn't be the last. The problem? Ryker's past. For nearly 20 years carrying out his government's dirty work, travelling the globe, fulfilling their secretive and shady orders, Ryker had built far more enemies than friends. Enemies who remained a threat as long as he still breathed. He was sure he'd left that life behind him for good now, but he'd never truly settle. He'd initially started this nomadic life to protect his good friend San Marino, after heat from his past had nearly seen her killed. Before her lay a string of similarly fateful ends, the painful memories of which clawed at his troubled mind daily. If he stayed in Prague, how long before Simona too became embroiled in his dark past? Yet that wasn't the full or only explanation for him needing to leave. Another factor was that the longer he stayed, the more he'd fall for her. Even after his troubled life, Ryker was more than capable of love, but he'd do all that he could to avoid it. "I'll miss you," she said. He moved over to her and sat down on the edge of the bed and put his hand on hers. He leaned over and kissed her on the forehead. "I'll miss you too." As he pulled back, he held her eye again, but not for long. He had nothing left to say. No point in prolonging the difficult moment. Ryker got up from the bed and headed for the door. Chapter 2. Blodstein, Norway. The blasting wind pelted Sigurd Berg's already weathered face with sleety rain. His cheeks stung. His lips were chafed raw. His nose streamed. He was sure he'd look like some fucking dumb caricature of Rudolph. Of all the nights to be doing this. With a constant grating, scraping noise, he scrabbled and heaved the barrel across the tarmac. Not rolled. He couldn't afford to put the thing on its side and risk the lid popping open and the contents spilling out. The edge of the dock was 10 yards away. Beyond it, the inky salt water rippled under the dim light of the moon that was throttled by dark clouds. Berg shivered as he looked out. Lifeless. He heaved again, and the barrel moved all of a few inches. He was out of breath. His heart pounded his ribs. But this would all be over with soon enough. The first barrel was already on board. Berg took a breath and grit his teeth and pushed with more effort still. Finally some momentum. In a single burst of strength and energy and endeavour, the barrel shifted a few feet, then a few more. Finally the end was in sight. He froze when he heard a car engine. Nearby. The fact the sound had cut through the howling wind confirmed it was close. He whipped his head round. He'd left on a single light in the factory, in the office area. From out here, the inner illumination was only faintly visible through the sporadic, grimy, translucent panels in the warehouse roof. Berg glanced from beyond the factory to the road. Sure enough, 2 bright headlight beams bounced into view as the vehicle came over the hump toward the entrance to the yard. He groaned, took his hands from the barrel and strode away. At least the wind was behind him now, pushing him forward with vigour. He reached the side door to the warehouse area as the car came to a pause at the closed gates. With the glare of the headlights, he had no clue who was behind the wheel. He slipped inside and closed the door behind him, then stared across the space. The office was in the opposite corner. Why hadn't he turned the light off after he'd pushed the last barrel outside? He heard a car door open, then close. A clunk as the outer gates opened. Berg rushed over and into the office and slid in behind his desk. Shit! Hat, gloves, coat. Berg stripped them all off quickly and stuffed them under the desk, then fired up his computer and stared at the screen just as the figure came into view in the open doorway. He jumped theatrically.